Morning all, hope you're doing well, hope you're staying safe. It's Friday, July the 3rd, 2020. We've got a lot of stuff again to get through today. Every day's a news day, so let's get right to it. So before we start, it is the Independence Day weekend. There's going to be no news from me tomorrow or Sunday. I'm going to be doing other stuff. So in its place is going to be a video from McDonald's that I took yesterday. Not just any McDonald's, it's the one that's next to the All-Star Resorts at Disney. And I've also got a follow-up with what's going to be open and what's going to be closed, exactly what's going to be open, what's going to be closed at Magic Kingdom when it reopens on July the 11th. That's attractions, restaurants and shops. And I'm going to be using the Disney Parks map to wander up Main Street and then round the park into all the different lands, just to show you exactly what's going on there. Into the news then, and US cases, highest ever recorded for the second day in a row, over 50,000. Deaths moving slightly up now on the 7-day moving average. In Florida, another record-breaking day yesterday here, over 10,000 cases for the first time. Deaths moving up and hospitalizations moving up. The positive rate now is almost 19.5%. I've included another chart here now on ICU availability in Florida hospitals. So that's the first time I've done that. I'll continue to do that. We've got just over 1,000 ICU beds available in Florida as it stands. Florida ranked again number 1, unfortunately, yesterday in the nation for the number of new cases, and Orange County in Florida ranked number 5, which is better than what it was yesterday. I've got another little map on the US that shows in a block format how many states are under mandatory mask wearing at the moment. It's 23 states. Florida is not among them. Who is among them now? Which state is among them is Texas from yesterday, which is interesting because Greg Abbott is a Republican governor. And whether that will sway Ron DeSantis into doing that, I don't know. So talking about Ron DeSantis, Mike Pence was in Tampa yesterday to do a joint press conference with Ron DeSantis. Mike Pence said there was basically nothing to worry about, it was all under control, things were going to get better. When Ron DeSantis was asked about his involvement in the rising number of cases, he did not acknowledge that at all, and he pointed instead to the low number of deaths in the state. Weather here today, it's going to be 90 degrees, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Started off beautiful again. It will cloud over, likelihood that we're going to get some thunderstorms this afternoon. Into the Disney park availabilities, and we've got theme park ticket holders only are very, very good. After about the 18th of July, nothing's closed off, everything's open right the way through to 2021. Similar picture for resort guests. After the 18th of July, everything's open, nothing's closed up until September 2021. If you're an AP holder, different story. It's pretty much done now for the rest of July, don't even bother. Into August, latter half of August is looking a lot better than the first in terms of weekdays. All of the weekends are pretty much done now. September's looking very, very good. Just a couple of days on weekends in the beginning of September. For everybody, after July, August, it's looking great for availability through to September 2021, especially if you're a theme park ticket holder off-site and a resort guest on-site. Other Disney news, the NBA is preparing courts now at other Disney news, and the NBA is preparing courts now at the Coronado Springs, so pictures from that. And the UK, finally but not least, is the UK has put the US in the red zone when it comes to travellers from the US being able to get into the UK. Travellers from the US will be able to go to the UK, but they will have to self-quarantine for 14 days. You'll remember that the UK travellers have been banned to go into the US since March 2020. Okay, that is the news headlines for today. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, hit that notification bell and press all. You'll get this stuff 6 days a week usually, with something different on a Sunday. As I say, no news tomorrow and Sunday, but something else will be in its place. If you're getting some benefit from this video, please do press the like. The algorithm likes the likes. And if you know somebody who you might be able to share this video with, who's coming to Florida and wants to know what's going on, then please do share as well. The algorithm likes shares too. Okay, let's get to the news. The number of new cases yesterday was 57,236. That's an increase of nearly 6,000 on Wednesday and is a new daily record. The number of deaths recorded in the US yesterday was 687. The 7-day moving average moved up slightly, and that's the first time it's done that since June the 2nd. 10,109 new cases were recorded in Florida yesterday. That beat the previous record by more than 500. We had 64 deaths in Florida yesterday, and the moving average is now the same as it was on May the 13th. Florida ranked number 1 in the nation yesterday for the number of new cases, ahead of California by almost 1,000. In Florida, Orange County went back down to number 5 in the rankings yesterday, with Miami-Dade and Broward bringing up almost a third of the cases between them. Looking at the stats, and those 10,109 new cases in Florida yesterday were brought about by 51,879 tests. That's a positive rate of 19.49%, which is second only to that on June the 24th. Both hospitalizations and deaths yesterday were the highest on record. Some people have been asking about the number of beds available in ICU across Florida. The total as it stands now is 1,046 beds available. This is a block map of the United States, and it shows which states have mandatory face coverings. There are 23 states currently where this is in place, but Florida is not one of them. Texas has also seen a big increase in daily coronavirus cases recently. Yesterday, Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, became the latest governor to mandate the wearing of face masks. Vice President Mike Pence was in Tampa yesterday to hold a joint press conference with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He praised the governor's work in combating COVID-19 and said the people of Florida could rest easy. Governor DeSantis outlined the avoidance of the 3 C's. These are closed spaces with poor ventilation, large crowds, and close contact. Governor DeSantis was asked by a reporter whether he took responsibility for the number of rising coronavirus cases. He pointed instead to the number of fatalities in Florida, and in particular when compared to Texas. The weather here in Orlando is going to be 90 degrees today, that's 32 degrees centigrade, with a good chance of thunderstorms. It's going to be the same picture for the next 3 days, and then hotting up a little bit up to 94 degrees. Moving into theme park news, and Disney's availability calendar for theme park guests is still looking good. Up to the 16th of July, all parks are available, and then only on the 17th and 19th of July is Disney's Hollywood Studios not available to theme park guests. All other dates right up to and including September the 26th, 2021 are available. It's a similar state for Disney Resort guests. Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom are both available from the 11th to the 14th of July. Then from the 15th to the 25th of July, except the 18th, Hollywood Studios is not available, all other parks are. Again, from that point right the way up to September 26, 2021, all other dates are available for all parks. Annual pass holders have been taking up more of their allocation, with only Epcot available for them in July on the 29th and 30th. For annual pass holders in August, the weekends are either sold out or almost sold out. Weekdays from the 17th through the 31st still have full availability for all parks. Into September for annual pass holders, and there are only 3 dates at the moment where all parks are not available. For all other dates up to the 26th of September 2021, all parks are available on all dates. The NBA is due to return to action on July the 30th at Walt Disney World. Practice courts with the bespoke team flooring have been laid at Coronado Springs. Yesterday in the UK, Britain's Transport Minister Grant Shapps said that the US would be on the red list. This means that visitors from the US would be required to self-quarantine for 14 days upon arrival into the UK. The US has banned visitors from the UK into the US since March. So a couple of things to look on then is the number of cases in the US, again a record second day in a row. This is not good. It's not just Florida, it's Texas, Arizona, California and a number of other states that are now seeing rising cases, which is contributing to the over 50,000. Obviously with 10,000, Florida is contributing 20% of those cases, so we really need to get to grips with what's going on here. Mike Pence's visit yesterday didn't really put too much meat on the bones of a strategy for getting those cases down. No talk of mask wearing at all from either Pence or from Ron DeSantis. They did talk about good PPE for hospitals now. They did talk about masks for first responders. They talked about drugs for hospital cases that would help people stop dying, but nothing that people on the street could really get hold of and say, okay, what can we do to help now? So Ron DeSantis didn't talk about masks at all, didn't take any responsibility for any of the increase in the number of cases in Florida, pointed instead to the number of deaths or lack of deaths in Florida compared to other states. That's as far as he was prepared to go. Thankfully, Orange County did rank at number 5 yesterday instead of number 1 or number 2 or number 3. So hopefully Orange County's number of cases will go down. ICU beds available just over 1,000. I don't know how many it's going to go down by each day now. If we're getting hospital cases of over 300, I don't know how sustainable the ICU beds are. I don't know how many days people are staying in ICU or how many days people are staying in hospital overall, but I'll be keeping an eye on that ICU chart. Then finally, looking at the UK now, putting the US in the red zone. So that means that any travellers from the US to the UK will need to self-quarantine for 14 days upon arrival. You'll remember that UK visitors were banned from visiting the US since March 2020. So what does that mean? Grant Shapps did mention reciprocal agreements, didn't go any further with that, but does that mean that there could be something afoot between the UK and the US separately to whatever anybody else might do? It's possible, but I can't see it being possible just yet. There are so many cases in the US that I think it would be pretty irresponsible of the British government to tie up with the US to let the US travellers in. If they want to travel, then I guess they're going to have that ability, but with quarantine period of 14 days, why would you bother? So let's see where that goes, but that's going to be an interesting little turn, I think, coming up. I still can't see any travel being available to the US by the FCO until maybe October, maybe November at the very, very earliest at the moment, unless there's some radical change here in the US, but I just don't see it. There doesn't seem to be a strategy for lowering the number of cases, especially in Florida. Okay, that's it for today. That's the news. Have a look for those two videos coming out tomorrow and Sunday, and I'll be back here for the news on Monday. Until then, have a great weekend. If you're in the US, happy 4th. Take care, stay safe. See you on Monday. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.